A very big welcome to Zanaco Unplugged, a podcast series that takes you within the corridors of Zambia's biggest banks, where we speak to business and creative leaders as well as pioneers. In these conversations, we look at the different aspects of business and innovation, tech as well as sustainability. My name is Rose Sibisi, and I'm super excited to be your host for Season 2, 2024, in a year in which Zanaco turns 55. Today is exciting and very special because we'll be looking at a conversation that is speaking to embracing diversity and cultural inclusion in a workplace. So you understand that when we talk about such kind of topics, you really want to have different points of view, fresh perspectives, ideas in how you're going to manage a large group of employees as well as affiliates to an organization. And who better to have this conversation with than Henry Kalubi, who is Head of Organizational Effectiveness and Business Partnering at Zanaco. He joins me on Zanaco Unplugged today. Hello, Henry, and welcome to Zanaco Unplugged.
Hello, Rose. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Very, very nice. And I'm sure you're just feeling already like, really amped because this is a topic that's close to your heart, obviously, right?
Very much. So happy to come and speak about this because I think Zanaco has been on a journey, and it would be a great thing for us to share that journey with our community.
So let's just start by defining what diversity is. When you have to speak about what diversity is, what does it mean to you and why is it important in an organization or a workplace?
Great question. Diversity, Rose, is actually a very, very wide subject.
Okay.
But we need to be cognizant of the fact that it started out with very, very limited definitions through a very, very skewed lens towards gender equality. But over the years, diversity and inclusion has broadened to also incorporate other parameters, including religion, age, ethnic grouping, tribe, and many others. I think I've just mentioned quite a limited number. So the Zanaco way, we have come on a journey where we've embraced all those particular themes. And what we've done is then carried our employees along the journey of adopting a thinking towards getting those particular themes embedded in our way, in the way we look at our strategy, and also the way we look at our customers and the way we look at our community.
I love that you've actually segmented them and you acknowledge that there are different groups that are under the umbrella of diversity. And when it comes to inclusion, you obviously have to move away from the norm that is gender, but also different specifics that are around cultural preferences, I would say, from different people from all walks of life. So when you think about how you have actively and intentionally actually promoted diversity and inclusion within Zanaco as an organization, can you give us an example of how you've seen that actually work?
Yes, sure. I'll speak to some of the interventions that we have put across as human capital. We actually did recognize that our employees had interest in certain programs that were fostering a more inclusive outlook towards gender equality. I'm speaking to gender because I would like to pick one particular area where we actually did something deliberate last year. So we had the Gender Equality Changemakers program. We certified quite a number of our employees. The impact downstream is quite high, Rose. Okay. I mean, when we look at how we've created an advocacy towards equality in the organization, I can say Zanaco has done quite a good job. Then that also spills over to the way we perceive our CSR. It spills over to the way we look at recruitment. So there are certain things we are now doing differently around creating parameters that are in our recruitment system that will ask you a set of questions to create some form of inclusion.
Right.
So we customize our job hunts to kind of be more inclusive when we go out to the communities. I would also like to just touch the fact that from a financial inclusion perspective, Zanaco has participated in several interventions and initiatives. And also, as an extension of that, pre-retirement programs, that speaks to how we perceive our demography from a perspective of age. So those who are preparing for retirement have an opportunity to actually be sponsored by the bank to be ready for retirement. Those are just some examples of how we've embraced diversity and inclusion.
I absolutely love how you've clarified that when it comes to diversity and inclusion, it's not just about gender. You're looking at different aspects of cultural belonging, belief systems, and also differently abled people. So already I can tell that you've got some strategies in place in terms of how you promote this diversity and inclusion within Zanaco. Are you at liberty to just share some of those strategies that you have? I know you've really touched on some of them through CSR and all of that, but what actual steps do you take to include all employees to feel that they have a home and a sense of belonging and an afterlife when you talked about retirement? Because that's something people don't think about a lot, eh?
Precisely. Thanks, Rose. So I did touch on the retirement, but that speaks to our emphasis around looking at an inclusive age diversity. When we look at how deliberate we are in creating future leaders, we have deliberate interventions that allow for us to then, kind of nominate female leadership and sponsor them for senior management programs at Harvard, at Gibbs University in South Africa, just as examples. We also have fostered a partnership agenda where we are looking to collaborate with Zambia Federation of Employers, Workers' Compensation, Zambia Federation for the Disabled, and various universities in kind of creating opportunities where when we look at talent that we would like to get into the organization, we create a similar kind of focus on messaging and also drive the right message. So we have not waited for this theme to come to us. We have gone out there into the communities to kind of foster the right kind of messaging. So it all starts from the top. Our leadership has embraced diversity and inclusion. What we've done is then created deliberate buckets in which we're going to implement our strategy towards diversity and inclusion. And so far, it's working so well because it, like I mentioned earlier, it goes beyond gender. So it goes to age. We look at religion. We look at how are we more inclusive even to those who are differently abled but wish to have careers with Zanaco, just as an example.
Brilliant. So hearing you speak, this is when we were preparing for our conversation, and your title was very interesting: Organizational Effectiveness and Business Partnering. So I see that in your strategy, you're looking at business partnering as an opportunity to help you with your intentional drive towards ensuring that everybody has an equal place within Zanaco. How do you think these business partnerships have been able to benefit Zanaco in driving your agenda and your strategies, like you talked about sustainability, CSR? Can you give some examples around your business partnerships that you think are really working to drive diversity and inclusion?
That's a great question. So business partnering in the sense of HC speaks to our presence within the business. What the benefit is to our employees is we understand the client or the customer's life cycle and their journey together.
Right.
And we play to the strengths or areas of development that will then foster that relationship to grow. Okay. So when we look at it from an HC perspective or a human capital lens, we then see opportunities to create capacity for our people, regardless of their affiliation.
Yeah.
And that alone speaks to how we meet the customer need, because as we create interventions to meet those needs for our staff then represent the bank appropriately to the customer. And the customer's ecosystem is then completed. So we create opportunities for our agenda around diversity and inclusion to thrive by looking at what are the needs of our staff. Yeah.
So 55 years on and many business partnerships later, a lot of amazing interventions and programs that are deliberately structured around your profiled employee base, as well as your partners, affiliates, those that actually support Zanaco in different aspects. From your heart to anybody that is listening out there, how far do you think Zanaco has come 55 years later?
It's been a great journey. I think Zanaco has proven that it has the ability to embrace the new way of work. It has the ability to embrace the client journeys. It has the ability to embrace a multicultural, highly engaged workforce.
Right.
And it has a listening leadership. One thing I will assure anyone who's prospecting to be employed by Zanaco is you're welcome. Welcome to be part of the Zanaco journey. Welcome to be part of the success. Zanaco is going far. It needs everybody, regardless of affiliation, to be a part of this journey. And hence, the reason why diversity and inclusion is important to us.
Brilliant. Henry, this has been so insightful and a great source of learning, not for myself, but obviously to anybody out there that is listening to this podcast as well as watching it. Until the next time, this has been Rose CBC having a great conversation only on Zanaco Unplugged Season 2. Till the next time.